everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Ariana from Where Black Sheep Meet, and today is the first of the month, so I get to do my cross-stitching video, but this is a very special video because I am now officially calling it a Flosstube. I have officially been cross-stitching now for a whole year, so I felt like I have enough going on now and enough of a bit of knowledge to finally cross over into the Flosstube world a little bit. It doesn't look like this craft is going to escape me anytime soon. I just keep falling deeper and deeper into the hole, so I might as well just dive in, right? So to begin with, hello to all the new subscribers, and thank you for coming back to all my original subscribers. And I just want to say it's been a year. So for everyone that's new here, I just want to let you know that if you're looking for my older cross-stitching videos, they are called my cross-stitch journey videos, and they are all in a playlist. So you can go to my playlist and you'll find them all together, so you don't have to go searching for them if you're interested in starting at the beginning with me with my very first piece. So this month was an extremely long month. I think this month I actually had 5 weeks to work on stuff than 4 that I usually have. So there's a lot going on today. So I already know that this is gonna be a super long video or one of my longer ones, which is fine because my last one was a little shorter now that my videos are getting a little longer. And I think it's okay since I'm only uploading these once a month instead of like every 2 weeks or anything like that. I just don't think I can get everything I want done in 2 weeks. So I make it a month just to make it easier on myself, and I don't have too many like restrictions or like goals to meet in that sense. And I think it's really cool to see how much progress I can actually do in a month anyways. But I am first going to get into like an intro since I've never done that before. And when people usually do their first Flosstube video, they usually give a little intro about themselves. So I think I'll do that today just so you can kind of get an idea of who I am, because I don't think I've really done that other than my live videos, which I'm sure most people haven't seen. So I'm really gonna try and wad it up into a little ball of what I wanna say so I'm not rambling on forever, but I will provide tons of visuals so that it can at least make this a little more interesting. But I guess let's start off with, I am Ariana, obviously, and all my friends usually call me Ari, even though my mom hates it, and I am 34 years old. I was born and raised 20 minutes outside of Los Angeles without traffic, and I pretty much had, did the normal stuff. I grew up doing a lot of dancing with my mom. She taught flamenco and folklorico. So I was around dance since the day I was born up until I moved out essentially. But I ended up doing a little bit of that for my mom, and then I did color guard in high school. A couple months later, after I graduated high school, I went to the California School of Culinary Arts, which is also known as the Cordon Bleu in Pasadena. And I graduated 7 months later, and I became a certified pastry chef because I have a gigantic sweet tooth. And so that was just my calling. And I enjoyed it. We learned everything. I don't bake as much as I did before. I do cakes for friends and stuff when they ask. So I'll do them. They're not my specialty. I personally like the pastries. I think they're just easier to pick them up when you walk by and shove them in your mouth or eat them up in a couple bites. So personally, pastries are like more of my thing. Cookies, things like that. But cakes, I've done a few, and some of them have turned out really cool, but like I said, they were never my specialty. After culinary school, I ended up getting a job at Panera where I worked graveyard for 8 years, and I was a baker trainer there. And within that time frame, I discovered my love of rock music. So I loved everything. I mean, I loved rock music since high school, but I really didn't get into it until maybe 2008. So it was a good 3 years, so 2008 to 2011, and I just went to every rock show, rock concert, rock festival that you can imagine. I pretty much saw everyone and anyone that you can see in that time frame. from like Arcade Fire, M83, to The Killers, to brand new, Circus Survive, Rise Against, AFI, System of a Down, Marilyn Manson, Korn, Slipknot, Trivium. I've all over the spectrum. I've seen Depeche Mode, Deftones, you name it. I've pretty much seen as many bands and artists that I could possibly see. I absolutely enjoyed it so much. I went to shows anywhere from 1 to 2 times a week. So that was my life for a good 3 years. And then when it started to turn into alternative wimpy rap music, no offense, I started to do more clubbing, and I went to Vegas a lot. We're from LA, so I mean, Vegas is a 3-hour drive. So I did the whole club scene a little bit, and I noticed my love of dancing, so I slowly switched over from rock music into raving. So I was actually a raver for a good 7 years. I went to big ones, little ones, but for the most part, I always looked forward every year to EDC. And EDC is what showed me my love of costuming. So I would look forward to every year because I would make a costume for each day of EDC, which is usually 3 days long, a whole weekend. So I would spend all year making costumes to wear to EDC. So I had some really cool ones that I made, and all of my costumes were just kind of things that I was just inspired by at the time. EDC itself is an experience. You kind of have to go to like know what I'm talking about, but everybody there is just so accepting and loving, and everyone's just there to have a good time, essentially. So those are my days when I worked at Panera. And then toward the end of those days is when I met my husband. And my husband and I started talking when he came back from Afghanistan, and we hit it off real fast. And as soon as he got back, he got orders to Japan. So we were dating the whole 2 years that he was stationed in Japan. So I got to go to Japan a couple times, and that was a really cool experience. We love Japan still, and we're begging for the day to go back because we fully enjoyed it. The people there are so respectful, and their technology and their way of life is something else. It's otherworldly. So I did go to Japan quite a few times, and also one of my trips to Japan is when he proposed, and we got married 4 months later, and then we ended up moving to Washington together. We were in Washington for 3 years. We did do, the usual, the Pike Place, the original Starbucks. It's also where we found our love for board games, like real board games, not like, Monopoly. And they have a really cool board game shop over there called Gabby's Olympic Cards and Comics in Olympia. And it's literally like a small library of board games. It's insane how much they have there. And it's like the coolest little shop. So if you're in the area, go check it out if you're into that kind of thing. They have really knowledgeable people. So we went in and asked like what's a good beginner game, and the first game we got was so much fun. We went back the next day and got some more. So that was our Washington life. And then we moved to Germany. And if you guys have been around since my first cross stitch videos, then you would have seen like my last setup that was in Germany. And so we were there for 3 years, but at this duty station, my husband had a more rigorous work schedule, and he was not able to get barely any time off. So we didn't get to travel and take advantages as much as we really wanted to, but we did do a lot in Germany. We went to the original Oktoberfest in Munich because we were like an hour away from there. So that was really cool to like see the tents and see how the different tents were decorated and do all that kind of thing. We did go to the Black Forest where we got a cuckoo clock, because they usually say when you're stationed in Germany, you always leave it with a cuckoo clock or a baby, and we left with both. We did get a couple of times where we did get to travel. We went to Rome. We saw as much as Rome as we could in a weekend. They have lots of fountains, and the food is epic. The food is so good. I still dream about the food. I did go to Paris, and we saw a lot in Paris. We were trying to go back to go to Disney Paris, but of course that's when the whole pandemic hit, and then we also missed out on our big trip to the UK that we were hoping to get in before we left. So we did miss out a little bit, but we did try to do as much as we could. And then now we are in Texas and we're in San Antonio. So we have been to Buc-ee's so far. We have had some super good barbecue. We also have the Riverwalk, which I didn't know had the Selena Bridge where both Selena and Jennifer Lopez stood on. And then they also have the stage for Miss Congeniality with the bikini contest where I forget her name. Her question was describe the perfect date, and she was like April 26th or something, because it's not too hot and not too cold. You just need a light jacket. So they have that stage there, right there on the Riverwalk too. So that was really cool. So we have it, I mean, supposedly we have 2 more years. It's the military life. So no plans are ever set until you're even there. And if you are there, they still change. So our lives are like drifting in the wind. And my husband is a lifer. So we're going to be in this life for at least another 10 years. He's been in 12 years so far, but with his career goals that he's trying to go for, it possibly could now be a little longer. Other than that, we do have 2 girls who are 5 and 2, and they take after my husband. They're very sassy, independent young ladies. And we have 2 dogs. We have my original dog, who is a Chihuahua mix named Choco Taco, but we just call him Taco. He will be 18 in October, so he's a very old man. And then we have our Corgi, who will be 7 this month, at the end of the month. Ona, who is named after Perona, who is the ghost princess from One Piece. My husband and I are giant One Piece fans. Our whole game room is One Pieced out, and a lot of it was from Japan. But that's where all of my old figures and things like that case that I used to have in my background, it's in our little formal like dining room area that we just turned into a little game room. And then when we got here, we did get some fish for my daughter, but they are now mine, and they are named Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And then for Mother's Day, my husband got me 2 snails, and there is Mr. Soggy Bottom and Speedo Torpedo. And I realize now that I am a fish person. I was not a bird person. I used to have a conure for about 2 years, and I'm not a bird person. So I am now realizing I'm a fish person and a snail person. But otherwise, I love astrology. I am a Capricorn with a Cancer moon. So to understand what that means is basically I'm someone who makes long-term goals and works really hard and sees the bigger picture, and at the same time I'm emotional over everything. That's essentially what that means. Any other personal details? I love roller coasters. I have a big sweet tooth, like I said, but my kryptonite is Reese's peanut butter cups and donuts. I love to read, which I'm sure you guys have figured that out now. I do play video games, not as much as I used to one point in time, but I have grown up playing them. And I do play World of Warcraft from time to time when I get into my moods, although I know there's something going on with World of Warcraft right now. So even my husband, who is the biggest World of Warcraft nerd, he also said that it's been a little off on there lately. So otherwise, I just do lots of crafting, and I've done all kinds of things. Sewing is my newest endeavor, but I have made a quilt for my husband once. That was a mission unto itself. I don't know how many times I cut out those little squares. Thank goodness my whole quilt was not squares. And I had that giant chunk in the middle, because that would have been horrendous. I have done some crocheting. My mom crochets, so she showed me a long time ago. I did have an attempt about a year ago where I tried to make amigurumi. So I only got to the little body and the hair for it, but I never even finished that. See, it's still attached. It wasn't my thing after all. I did crochet a giant blanket once for my ex-boyfriend, but I don't talk to him anymore, so I'm not about to stir the pot to get a picture for you guys. So I'm sorry about that. I have a silhouette machine, so sometimes I like to play with stickers and decals. I do diamond painting now, and now I can add cross stitching to the list. So that is me in a nutshell, and I hope that now you guys have an idea of who I am. So when it comes to my channel, Where Black Sheep Meet, originally black sheep is a phrase to mean like someone who's different or a little outcast. I have thought of myself in that way from time to time in the past, more with certain things that I've liked and enjoyed or things like that, how I was. And so this is kind of like a place where everybody who kind of feels like that can kind of be together. Even cross stitching can kind of be a little bit of an outcast thing, just because I don't know how many floss tubers I've seen say that they made Flosstube because they wanted to join a community of people who talked about it, because they don't have anybody in their real lives that know anything about it or even care. I kind of want that idea for my channel to where you can be you can be yourself. I'm a firm believer in, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you should do what makes you happy. And I try to strive for that goal every day. Obviously you can see all the different things that I've done, and it's because my mom has always supported me in doing things that I'm happy doing. I know I dabble in a little bit of everything because it's just what I'm feeling, what I'm inspired by, what I'm interested in learning or wanting to recreate, because creating is what I'm passionate about. So for the most part with my channel, I hope that it makes you feel like you're accepted here. You feel like you can come to my videos and just kind of chill out and relax. And I really appreciate all the support for you guys allowing me to be me. So I just hope that that's how I come across, and that is what I strive for my channel to be. So next order of business, I think I'll do a little book blurb in case you like the book thing. I know a couple floss tubers that do little book reviews. I'm not going to do whole reviews. I'm just going to tell you what I've read and what's stood out to me. So in case you're interested, you can take a look at those, because I know some people like to listen to audiobooks when they're stitching. So might as well throw my 2 cents out there. I have discovered that my all-time favorite genre of books is fantasy romance, but so far this year I have read 45 books. That is the most books I've read in the last like 10 years. But like I said, I think it's attributed to me finding what genre I actually like to read. So this month I did read 18 books, and 9 of those were audiobooks, because turns out we are in the future. Here in San Antonio, the public library has an app, and on the app you can go on there, and it's just like Kindle Unlimited and Audible, where you can just check out ebooks and audiobooks. And if it's on hold, it'll alert you when the book is off hold, and then you can borrow it right then and there. It is the coolest thing. So I've been doing a ton of audiobooks on there. So just a couple standout books that I loved. So I did read another series that was hands down, it's probably my second favorite series. It's called the Hasselhart series, and it's about a girl who had died, and in the afterlife she decided to become a Cupid. And she's supposed to go around like a Cupid and spread love. But the crappy part is that no one can see or hear her. And she does this for 60 years. And then she gets called back to the main office, and they give her a promotion to go to the land of the fairies. And she ends up running into an evil prince who ends up knocking her into the physical world. And so it was really good. It was so good. I have never read a book that has made me laugh through the whole series. I couldn't help myself. I was laughing out loud like every other couple pages. It was really entertaining and really different. Like I said, it's an adult fantasy romance, and it's a reverse harem story. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, but I totally enjoyed it in case you're looking for something like that. Otherwise, other little mentions, I did read a contemporary that I liked was the Bromance Book Club, and it's about a guy who's having issues with his relationship. So his friends tell him that they have a secret group where they have a book club that they get together and read romance novels to help save their marriage. So that was really cool. That was an audiobook. I also read A Kiss of Deception. That one is I think it's a YA, and it's about a princess who runs away on her wedding day so she doesn't have to marry the prince, but then the prince and an assassin end up tracking her down, and through most of the book you don't know who is who. And so that was a really cool concept. And I did read Ice Planet Barbarians, and I actually really loved it because it was so outlandish that it was entertaining and it was really funny. And the second book I actually liked more than the first. So if you're interested in seeing what that book was about, it's definitely worth a little peek. It's a short story, I believe, so it's nothing that you're spending time forever on. And I did end up reading the first book in the Bridgerton series, and it was cute. I was really starting to get into it when they had their first fight because he couldn't have children or whatever. And then he goes out, he gets drunk because they had their fight. He comes back and then she takes advantage of him. I was like, dang girl, that's shady. That was shady. And so the book ended up kind of rubbing me a wrong way a little bit because I was like, ooh, that wasn't right. And it was funny because I went to watch Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, and I think it was her 83rd Flosstube, and she was talking about how she read it and she was saying the same thing. And then she was saying the next two books are okay, but that fourth one had another little scene. So I ended up watching the series on Netflix. I actually truly love the series on Netflix. I loved it more than the book, so that's saying a lot. And they definitely covered it up a little better in the series than they did in the book. So that's my little book blurb. You can go ahead and follow me on Goodreads if you're interested in anything that I'm reading. I'll leave that link down below for you. So you can go ahead and add me there, whatever you want to do with that. But otherwise, let's get into my whips. Like I said, it's been a long month and I have a lot to show for it. So I definitely took advantage of every second I had. So of course, we're going to start with my first ever project, and it is Celestine by Margaret Morales, and this is a Heaven and Earth Designs, and I have what it looked like last time you saw it, and here is where we are at now. So if you remember, the last week of July, because I don't remember what day, I didn't write it down, but it was her birthday. So I worked on her a little bit every day, and I did the 25/7, but on a hay that's really not going to be much progress at all because there's just, you do 25 stitches and it's only a little 1/4 inch of a circle essentially. So I did try my best to do a little bit more, and then I did spend 5 days working on her as well. So real quick, she is on a 25 count linen, and it's 2/1 full cross. So like I said, I did full on work on her for 5 days, and I did 2,189 stitches, which puts me at 38,073 stitches and 24.72%. So as you can see, I have switched up my stitching style on her. I decided to not do columns anymore because there is so much confetti on her that it was just getting so tedious. So I decided to try finishing like a color in the area, but I'm sticking within the page. I don't think I'll go outside of the page. But that, like I said, there's so much confetti in there that you can see like they're so close together, but not. And so what I've been doing is I'll just take a strand of floss and I'll do a whole strand. I'll just follow the whole lines. I'll find paths and work in the path and finish the floss. And then I decided, well, I might as well just finish all of that floss color on the page. So I started doing that, and that was working out real good too, because now I feel like I'm actually making progress on it in a short amount of time just by switching it up, because otherwise it'd be like 2 stitches in one column, 4 stitches in another column. And so like to start and stop that much, it was starting to get to me. So I think I'm going to continue on like this for now and just pick colors and work my way down on the page and finish the whole page, and then I'll move on to the next one. The only thing that I'm having issues on is that it's a little easier to miscount now when I do it this way. So I have had to frog like 100 stitches, and that's when I stopped on her and I was like, okay, that's a sign that you're done and I will move on. But yeah, it would be like I was off like 1 row of stitches, but I can't be off 1 row of stitches. Not on her, there's no way to fib it, because yeah, I did have to, it was actually right here that I had to frog out all of this little patch right here. But yeah, so she's gonna be worked on a little differently from now on, or at least until I change my mind again. But I did feel like I said, that I was making a lot more progress now, just stitching all those same color, because I wasn't stopping and starting so much. So I'm excited to pick her up again and keep going to see how much more I can get done. The only thing, it does make it harder to like set goals, just because now I don't have exact columns that I'm working in. So I'll discuss later in plans what I think I'll try and do. But that is Celestine. So that's a whole year of progress. And of course I have her in my little dove bag that I made for her with the little charms on there. So I'm happy I have that. I'm happy it's nice and big, because everything just fits perfectly in there. So I think with the goal that I originally had on her, I think I said I was gonna do like 3 or 4 columns, but I can't tell anymore. So I think I'm gonna go by stitches with her. So I'm not too sure if I actually met that goal or not. So next is Persephone, and Persephone is also a Heaven and Earth design by Alessandra V. Bach. And the last time I worked on it, I had 3 pages done. And this time I now have 4 pages done. I'm just knocking out these pages on this one. It's just really easy. I don't know. It is a 10 stitch, so maybe that's what it is. What is that? Oh, it's a lint. So that 10 stitch is really, really the coolest thing ever in cross stitch. But as you can see, it's still just background. I am so excited because the next page is going to be the top of his hair. So it'll be mostly background, but there'll be like a little section right here that'll start being like his hair and stuff. And then it gets into his horns, I believe. And then I don't know if the last page is just more background. Oh, it's right here. Yes, the last page is mostly background. But this is 9 pages long, and I'm at 4, about to go into 5. So I'm almost halfway there now. This is on a 28 count easy grid, and I'm doing 2 over 110 stitch. And where's my notes? Here we go. I did work on this for 7 days. Like I said, 7 days seems to be like the sweet spot to get a whole page done. I did 6,860 stitches. I know it's 10th though, so if you want to be technical you can, but I'm just going to count it as it is. So that puts me at 30,380 stitches, and I'm at 8.07%, which is funny because I'm 8,000 stitches behind Celestine. So to go from like almost 25% to 8%, this is a way bigger project. So the 10 stitch was definitely necessary to get some project done on it. But I am just doing work. Like I said, my goal was to finish the page, and I finished the page. And it's really cool to see like these little background details in here. I'm still doing mostly the blue, a couple blues, greens, and blacks. But down here, it started to get a little purple in there. So that was really exciting. I think it's gonna start getting into way more blacks though with his hair. More purple too, but definitely a lot more black. So we will see what it looks like with his head on there, or his hair, I should say. So I'm super excited. Oh, and I also did grab one of those charms from, what was it? It wasn't last video, I think the video before, but I finally made a needle minder with one of them. So I just cut off, sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off. I cut off the, there was like a loop for like a necklace or whatever, or a keychain, and I cut that off, and then I just put the magnet on the back. So this one says, when it's dark, look for stars. And I think I got that at Hobby Lobby. So I'm sure they have that if you're looking for it. But it was a super easy way to make a needle minder. And it's really cute. And it matches everything on this bag. So this bag, if you remember, is on my constellation astrology bag. And then I have the little stars and moons on there. So that is Persephone, number 2. Number 3, Halloween Quaker by Leela Studio. So here's where it was last time you saw it. And this time I am here. And as you can see, I finished the row of houses on the bottom. So I did meet my goal. I wanted to get one motif done, which was either this or it was something up here, I forget. So I did meet my goal. Now, this one I am gonna do like Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and I'm gonna make this my 25/7 project because I really wanna have this done by Halloween. So this is gonna be my big focus project this month and next month. So I'm gonna try and get half of it done this month and finish the second half next month. At least as far as I can really get if I need to finish anything in October. So I do have big plans for this one, which I'll talk about a little later. But so far, I mean, I've loved this piece. You guys know that. I love this fabric. You guys know that. But it's definitely coming together, right? It's almost halfway. I think it starts with the witch and the moon here, and then the happy Halloween, and that's like half, I think, for the most part. So it's getting there. It's getting there. And like I said, I love working on it. So I gave it its time off. Hopefully there's no more issues. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish telling you guys everything about it. So this is on a 40 count linen called Halloween Party by Barbarelle Creations on Etsy. And I'm doing 1/2 full cross. I did 1,354 stitches. So that puts me at 6,635 stitches. And I'm 36.87% complete. So that is Halloween Quaker, and we'll discuss more about it a little later. And I do have this one in my little Halloween bag that I made with the little spider. Halloween's coming up, so I'm super excited to like go to the store and snag up all the charms. I did see that Michael's had in their like what is it, their beads, they had candy corns, they had a pumpkin, and something else that was brown, and then they had skulls. They had a string of skulls that I'll show later. So I did see those, but I'm still waiting because I know they're going to come out with more when it gets a little closer. So I'm about to stock up real soon. So after Halloween Quaker, I started Windrunner, which is Sylvanas from World of Warcraft. Like I said from before, we're a World of Warcraft family. And when I saw this pattern, I just could not resist. So here is where I was last time that you saw it. And here it is now. So it's a little tiny one. Look, her face is coming out. Oh, it looks so cool. It's so cool. She's beautiful. And it's only half her face. But this is so small, like her face just like popped up, like there it was. I'm like holding this all wrong, I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah, her face just like popped out after like a few stitches, and I was like, yes. But yeah, this is really cool. I showed my husband, he's like, that's dope. So he took a picture and sent it to his friends in Discord, and he's like, who is this? Because it was right before her face really came in. And I think only one person guessed correctly. But yeah, he's super excited to have this in his room. But I think the goal was to finish the page, and that's what I did. So I finished page 2. Is that 2 pages? I don't think that's 2 pages. Maybe it is. I think it is 2 pages. I think it's only 4 pages wide because it's only up to here. So, yeah, because it's 9 pages. I don't even remember. Don't ask me, I don't know. I'll look at it later. I'll put a blurb here what it is for sure. But yeah, so I did finish the page though. I do know it was a page finish. So I did meet my goal in this. So this is from Thread Geeks and the artist is Kendra Gloomblade. I always tongue twist with her name. Gloomblade, Kendra Gloomblade. And this is on 28 count easy grid 2/1 10 stitch. Again, with that 10 stitch, I'm telling you. I worked on this for 5 days and I did 2,702 stitches, which puts me at 8,912 and 16.67% complete. So she's stunning. She's beautiful. I'm excited to get more of her face in there coming up. Even that background, look at that background. It seriously looks like splattered paint, but it's just a bunch of little X's. Super cool. I'm so in love. But I say that with every project, so I'm sure you guys are like, sure you do. So I did make a new project bag because, like I said, from my last video that there was quite a few that needed new project bags. So I went to town this month and this one is a, what is it? Sweets, French sweets with macaroons, and I don't know French, so I'm not about to try it. Okay, I'll try it. Petit Chateau, Petit Chateau, I don't know. So, but yeah, it's a bunch of French pastries, and I mean, now you know, I actually studied French pastries, but I don't know how to say them. But yeah, this is such a cute fabric. I ended up going into my, my box of scrap fabric because those are like my smaller pieces. I didn't want to go cutting up my big yards of fabric just in case I decide to make some project eventually. And I went through my scrap fabric boxes. I have quite a bit. And so I found a bunch of fabrics with matching linings. So I went ahead and grabbed this one, and I had a little charm from one of my EDC outfits. It's a little ice cream. And I stuck that on there. So this is her new home. I know it doesn't match, but I don't really care. This is just, it was just fun to put together, and she's only gonna live in there until she's done, and then something else is gonna go in here. So that is Windrunner and her new home. Then we'll move on to my fifth whip, the 5th project I started, which is Moths and Bugs. Moths and Bugs is from Punochka on Etsy. And here's where it was last time you saw it. And now I have a couple bugs. So I did meet my goal, which was one more motif. So it was either gonna be just these two or one of these. And as you can see, I had time to do both. And I just couldn't stop. I know I was saying before, after I just had this one, that I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I was in love. But now that I see more, I'm super in love. I am happy with the decision of the fabric and everything like that. And it's just coming out so cool. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. I love it. And they're so cute. Look at these little bugs. They're so tiny and so cute. I'm in love with this chart. I'm really in love with this pattern, and it's a pretty quick stitch. Like I said, I have a million other little projects now. So this is, this will get there if I sit down and work on it. If I were to just focus on this all month, I'd have it done, but realistically, that's not what's gonna happen. So this is on an 18 count Aida by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers called Lava Chocolate. And I worked on this for 3 days. I did 1,110 stitches, which puts me at 1,869, and it's 20.58% complete. So super cute. And as you can see, I finally took one of those charms again and I cut off the little loop that was on there and I made a needle minder. So now I have a little, well, let me turn it right side up for you guys. There you go. So now I have a little moth needle minder that matches. But yeah, I'm super excited to pull this out. This might be the first one I pull out because it was just so quick to stitch. So that is Moths and Bugs. And this one also has a new home because this one was hanging out by itself for a little while there. And for this one, I had this really cool like crystal gems fabric. And like I said, it was just fabrics that I fell in love with pulling them out, and I ended up having contrasting fabrics that matched for the most part. So I went to Walmart and I bought a matching zipper. And when I was there, they had these, like a little pack of these charms. And I saw them and I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's gonna match this like crazy, like abstracty sort of print with all the colors and everything. So that was like super perfect. So I stuck that on there. And then I just had the lime green fabric that was from my Buzz Lightyear dress. So yeah, so that's its new home for that one. Okay, so the next one we got to talk about for a second. The next one is the New Normal by Long Dog Sampler. Here's where it was last time. Don't mind my attitude. Yeah, here is where it is now. So I think I said my goal was to finish the first circle. I got halfway before I cut it. It was intentional. It was intentional. Let me explain. So once I got to the halfway point, I finally decided, because I know I was saying last time that you couldn't see the details on this fabric. It just blends in too much. You can see it up close, but like even in person, if I were to look at it like this, like first glance, I could barely see the details. So if I were to get like, you know, on a wall, you're not gonna see anything. You can see like the elephant and all the gold, but you can't really see the other details in the rest of it. So I made the decision to restart. I know, since I'm using a paper pattern, I don't know how far I got. I'm sure it was at least 1,000, 2,000 something stitches. So it's really hurting my heart to have to restart this. Yeah, I'm kind of sad, but it just, I'm not happy. I wasn't happy, and so I figured I should stop now and restart on something that's gonna make me happier. So I ended up pulling out the other Picture This Plus fabric that I had bought at the same time called Haunted, which is also an 18 count Aida. So it's this piece right here. And it's, there it goes. That's the color. It's a really pretty piece too, actually. I like this little spot over here. So I did a test swatch on this one to see if I can see it better. So I did lines this time instead of the like block, because of course if it's blocked you can see it, right? But like I was like, no, it has to be lines because that's what I'm stitching. And you can see that a lot better. If anything, there's like a little tiny corner of the thread that kind of blends in a tiny bit, but not a lot. But otherwise it stands out for the most part. So this might be the fabric that I restart on, but I'm not committed yet. I'm just not. Then I was thinking maybe I should just change the silk to something else and go with a different idea, because now this isn't gonna be like my whole, what is it, celestial astrology sort of idea like this. It's gonna be something else now. So I'm just gonna hold off for now and I'll think about it. So the new normal will have to take a back seat. But when I start it, I will end up picking up the PDF for it, because remember, I only have the printed chart. So when I finally pick up the PDF, I will probably do a giveaway for the chart. I did highlight the first page, so hopefully whoever gets it is fine with that, but that's for another time. Otherwise, I did work on it for 3 days. This is on 18 count Ada Picture This Plus shadow. And yeah, that's all I can really say about it. Obviously I cut it, so there's no going back now. I'm using the rest of the fabric for another piece. So this is still a good size. I can still put something on here. I just have to frog all of this when I finally decide what to do with it. So I'm gonna put that away for now. So that is the new normal. It is now out of rotation. Sad to say, but it is what it is. Now let's move on to something I'm in love with again. This is Space Dragon, and it's from Lola Lotta Shop on Etsy. That's a mouthful. And here's where it was last time I worked on it. And now I have a little dragon. Isn't he adorable? He's so adorable. So this is on 18 count Ada Picture This Plus Gothic, and he's just turning out so cute. I decided to name him Orion, like Orion's belt, Orion constellation. So that's his name. His name is Orion. We're sticking with the theme. And he's super fun to stitch. He is super quick to stitch up. I just couldn't stop myself from working on him. I like worked on him and then met my goal, which was a section, right? It was to finish another, I had done his head last time, I think. And I said to finish another section, like his arms or his ears or the ball. And you can see, like, I picked it up again and I just kept going. So I worked on him for 5 days and I did 1,712 stitches. And that puts me at 2,403 and 32.8% complete. So he is going. I think it's his tail that wraps around here, and I think I have some more back or ear, or there's something here. So I have to wrap around now. And then I haven't done any of the back stitching or anything like that yet, so he needs a lot more details. I'm just gonna do all the X's first. But I'm super happy with him. He's super cute. Obviously, he needs a little grind guard because I just didn't have time. One thing at a time. I did all the bags this time. Next time will be all my grind guards. But he's a little tiny thing. He's only as big as this right here. I think it goes up a little bit more and a little bit on the bottom. But for the most part, this is him. And then there's little stars everywhere. I did do another needle minder. So that was from my charm pack from last time. This one also had a little hook up here. I just snipped off and added a magnet. And this one says, "Stronger than the storm." Super cute. So he's another one that I'm just like, I could finish him if I just focused on him. But that's not realistic. And as much as I got done in, what was it, 5 days? How much is he? He's 7,308. Yeah, I could finish him totally with a little time to spare, but unrealistic once again. So we'll see. We'll see what next month brings, how much I can really do with him next month. And then I did make a project bag for him because he didn't have one. He was sitting in the little bag wrapper from the fabric. So I ended up making another spacey bag, and this one's just galaxy. Yeah, there's no constellations. It's just galaxy print. And then I went to Walmart and bought a matching zipper. I have the white, and trying to get you without the glare there, white with gold dots. I used that fabric on my Lolita, my last Lolita dress I did. It was like the contrasting center. So I had a little bit of that left over. And then I have this charm of a little globe, little space globe on there. that I stuck on there. Most of these charms are from Hobby Lobby. So if you're interested, that's where they're from. So that is his home. And this was project number 6. Do I have, ooh, yeah, I have 6 so far. Okay, so then halfway through the month, I discovered the Witchy Stitcher Cryptid Sal. And I saw it. I saw cryptids and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw her describe it as Victorian and I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. And then I saw the frame and I was like, done, take my money, here you go, let's go. So I started the Cryptid Sal, and so this is a new start and also an FFN, which is finished for now, because I completed the frame. It took me the 4 days. It came out on the 1st. The frame came out on the 1st. So it did take me the 4 days. I wanted to try and get the frame done as much as I could, so that way all of August I'm focusing on Halloween Quaker, which I'll explain in a little bit. But it was like an easy pattern to just like fall into. So I binge watched The Witcher because I hadn't seen that yet. I binge watched the 2nd season of Mandalorian because I hadn't finished that, and I got it done. But isn't this beautiful? This calls to like my steampunk heart, like with these like golds and bronze and the black and the little filigree. And then I was noticing when I finished stitching the top filigree, there's little bats up here. Do you see the little bats? And then I noticed that there's crosses. He's sitting on a cross and then there's upside down crosses. I was like, that is too freaking cute. Too freaking cute. I'm in love. So the first 3 cryptids come out in September. So like I said, this is for the Cryptid Sal, and it's by the Witchy Stitcher. So if you had seen my first video, this fabric was a fabric that I got from 123 Stitch, and it was supposed to be a 25 count Laguna. And I was originally gonna start Celestine on this fabric, but when I started stitching out the frame to make sure it fit and where to go, I realized it's not a 25 count. It's actually like a 20 count, I think. So I couldn't use this. So I pulled this out when I needed fabric for this one. And I was like, you know what, I'll use this because I had an 18 count, but I didn't want to dye like a whole like yard of it. So I said, okay, well, I'll do 20 count. It's already a size that I need. And so this is my first dyeing experience. I actually hand dyed this myself. It did not turn out the way I wanted it to. I went and got the dyes. I got caramel and I got dark brown, and I was hoping to model it with this and then go over it a little bit with this one to get a little bit of a darker modeling. It didn't work. It took the darker brown more than anything else. There's like slight modeling. Can you see it? There's like slight modeling, but yeah, it's a little more pinky brown too than it is showing on the camera. But I have a little excerpt here of what I did. So I wet the fabric, I put it in my little jar, I took hot water, put about a tablespoon of the caramel, mixed it up, poured it into the jar onto the fabric, put the lid on, let it sit for 30 minutes, rinsed it out, let it dry, or I spread it out and then I let it dry, and then I brought it back in, and then same thing. I wet it, I put it in my little jar all scrunched up, I put hot water, and then I put like a teaspoon of the dark brown because that was dark, and I poured it on top, closed the lid, and then I did end up swishing it a little bit just because it was only getting one side, which I'm thinking now maybe I shouldn't have. But I let that one sit for 20 minutes, and then same thing, I rinsed it out and then I hung it to dry. And this is what I got. So not what I wanted, but it still works. It's a neutral. You can't really mess up neutral. And that's what I needed. So it's okay. But yeah, I love this. I love this frame. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the next piece to come out. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even give info. So this frame, so like I said, it's on the 20 count Laguna that I self-dyed, and it's 2/1 full cross, and it took me 4 days to complete, and it was 4,621 stitches. And I know you're thinking like, wow, that's a lot of stitches in 4 days, but I think it was just because it was one color. I just worked on the frame first, and since it's a pattern, see, it's a pattern. It's just the same thing all the way around, essentially. So it was easy just to memorize the pattern, and then I didn't even have to like look at the pattern keeper. I just counted it out. So I think that's the only reason I was able to do it so fast, was just because it was a pattern and it was all one color. Here's the rest of the colors though, in case you're interested. Look how pretty. So we've only used 3 colors, but that is it. So if I show it with my fabric, see, that's a terrible hold up, Ariana. There you go. So you can see it's gonna stand out real nice and look really cool. I think she did send out an email yesterday about this little part on the frame, these little brown parts. This is right up here, but on the bottom of it, those 2 brown ones, there's like a little tiny, like 2 stitches out. So I'll frog those and fix those when I pull this back out next time for the for when the cryptids come out, and that's September 3rd. So it should be out in my next Flosstube, but I won't be able to start it because I'll be filming that day. And then this one is in my little dinosaur bag that I'm going to have ready for Dinosaur December. And then it has my little long neck, like Land Before Time. Yes, I grew up on that movie with the tree stars. And then he's like looking for his mom. It was so sad. Oh, it gets me every time. It was Petrie. Petrie was my favorite. And then I have a new start, another new start. I'm telling you, this list is growing, but at least that's why I wanted to finish my frame, because I was like, well, if Long Neck Samplers is going away, then I can have another new start to keep my 8 projects going, or 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To keep my 7 projects going. So I was watching Crafty Rogue Gamer the other day, just the other day, her newest one, and she showed the, video game sampler by Screaming Heart Designs, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that. I had seen it once a long time ago, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I think I want to do it. And then I forgot about it. So when she popped it back up, I was like, oh, I'm getting that right now. And that's what I did. You go to, I'll have where to go linked down below, because I don't know how long it's going to happen, but it's from Screaming Heart Designs, who created it, and it's for a donation to the NAACP. So I believe that's for like Black Lives Matter and things like that. So you make a donation and then you email her to let her know that you made your donation, and then she sends you the chart. So that's what I did. I was more than happy to make that donation, because to me, essentially, that's a win-win. They get a donation and I get a cool chart. And so this one, like I said, we grew up, both me and my husband grew up playing video games for the most part. So when I saw this, I had to have it. If you don't like cuss words, I'm sorry. I'm not a sweary person. I don't swear. I don't swear. I really don't. The only time I swear is when I'm playing video games. So this was the perfect chart. So you can go ahead and read it there yourself if you would like. But it was just the coolest thing. So I actually started it yesterday, and I only worked on it yesterday and a tiny bit this morning before my pre-workout kicked in for my workout. And this is how far I've got. So I didn't get too much. I got 2 of the little blue, I don't know what you call them, but the little glares, and then I got I Don't Always Die In, and then I got the little flame. So it's a good little start. It's a good little start for essentially one day of working on it. And it wasn't even that long. It was just a couple hours because I think I messed up on the size here, so I had to frog this and restitch it. So I knew when I frog, it means I got to take a break from it. So I didn't get too far. But this is where my long dog sampler fabric went to. I was like, well, I have the exact perfect amount underneath, so might as well use it. So this is the picture of this plus 18 count in shadow. And I did 387 stitches, so I'm at 3.16% complete. So I did get all the flosses, and when I was picking up the flosses, I was like, these are beautiful. I've been waiting to get a pattern that has these like bold like colors, because I tried like, you know, all the Hades and stuff. You would think they would have bold colors like this. They don't. They're very pastel stuff. And so it was really cool to see that all these really bright colors are in this. So I'm super excited. I just missing black, but I have a cone, so I'll pull some out when I get to it. But this is gonna be really cool. You can see, the only thing, the blue is blending in a tiny bit, but, oh, there you go, you can see it right there. But I think that's the only one, because everything else is pretty bright on there. Yeah, everything else is gonna stand out. It's just gonna be that dark blue, and it's only across the top like that. So yeah, so this is gonna be my sweary video game piece. That's what I'm gonna call it. I know it's called video game sampler, but I'm gonna call it my sweary video game. So yeah, so this is my new start. I'm so excited to work on this one too. I think this will go pretty quick because this one's only, oh no, it's not. It's 12,000 stitches. This is a pretty good size. It's a pretty good size. So we'll see. So this one is gonna have to chill out for a little bit because I was making a bag. This was actually supposed to go in probably my dinosaur bag for now, because my cryptid sow was supposed to go into this bag. So it was gonna be like a another Halloween themed type of bag. It's got this really cool like print on it. And then this was gonna be my contrast fabric. So I was working on it, got the zipper done, right? Turns out I didn't cut my vinyl right. It's like an inch too short. And I have no more vinyl. I thought I had just enough for these 4 bags, and now I don't. So I have to go to the store and get more vinyl. I just haven't done it yet. So this bag is just gonna have to chill out for a little bit and wait. And then I'll switch my cryptid cell into there, and then this sweary video game will go into my dinosaur one. I think that's it. That's all my current whips. That's what I'm working on. That's what's gonna happen next month. So let me go into shout outs real quick, and then I'll do my goals, and then we'll wrap it up and head out. Cause like I said, my thing shows an hour and 28 minutes, but you know, I like to edit things down. So maybe we'll get an hour and 30 in the end. We'll see. So shout outs real quick. I did finally catch up on a lot of Flosstube for the people that I normally watch. So I finally did catch a few new people. I did find Alma's Little Wonders. She's got like over 2,000 subs, but I saw her whip parade video and she was wearing like a Haunted Mansion t-shirt, and I was like, ooh, she's kind of cool. And then I liked all her projects. They were like novelty and pop culture. There was like nerdy projects. And she was saying that she loves WoW and watches anime. And I was like, subscribed. And then I found Crafty Teacher DIY. Now she's an under 500 sub club because she's only got 47 subs right now. And I just checked for the video, so that's what she's at. She's got 5 videos, and I really like her. I like her personality. She's new to cross stitching. She actually found it through Rachel Ray and Miss Crochet and Coffee with diamond painting. So same situation here. That's how I pretty much fell into it, because of the diamond painting. I found DIY Moon Shop and saw Margaret Morales' work on there. And so when Hayde picked up her artwork for cross stitching, I was like, I'm sold. Like, we're diving in, let's go. She does do a lot of craftivism projects, which is kind of cool. And she's a teacher, but she's like an exciting teacher, not a boring teacher. Then I found Adam Hart Mother, and she's also an under 500 sub club with 290 subs. She's got 3 videos, and she's also new to Flosstube, but she's like pretty big on TikTok with cross stitching. She said she blew up with the like a 3D cross stitched Hogwarts, and so she put little blips of it, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I've been watching her. Then I saw the Stitchy Reader, and she's got about 1,500 subscribers, but she's like a librarian, and she does like theater and stuff like that, and she's just got a really bubbly personality. She doesn't do a lot of projects that I personally like they're not my style, but her personality is what I just enjoy listening to. And then there was Helen D, and she's got like 7,000 subscribers. So I'm sure most of you know who Helen D is, but I found her because she was doing the gamer cross stitch, what is it? The Pixels That Made Us by Pick Stitch for the Child Play charity. So I saw that she was doing that, and so I ended up enjoying her as well. Her personality was pretty cool. So that is all my shout outs for this month. And last but not least, I'm going to go over my goals for this month. So starting with Celestine, I'm going to, let's see, I did how many stitches on her? So what I'm gonna do with Celestine is I'm going to go by stitches instead of columns. So since I did a little over 2,000 stitches, I think I'll go with that again. I'll try and do 2,000 more stitches on Celestine, and we'll see where that gets us. I have to figure out how far I get with that. Then I can get a better idea of what kind of goals I can reach that are realistic. We all know on Persephone, I'm going to stitch another page, and we're gonna see his cool hair come out. So another page on Persephone. Now on Halloween Quaker, so what I'm gonna do with this one is it's gonna turn into my 25/7. So just the way that Michelle Bendy Stitchy was doing it, because I really wanna get this one done by Halloween. My goal is to make this my focus piece this month and next month. So I'm gonna try and do half of it this month and half of it next month. So hopefully by October I should be done, or at least close to done. So that way in October I could just finish it up. Because like I said, I really want to get it done by Halloween. I'm almost halfway, so hopefully if I just focus on it, maybe it won't be too hard to get to. So since I have that mess up down here somewhere, I'm gonna go across the top first and work my way down. That way whatever is here, I can space out a little more evenly and just kind of move things over if I need to. But otherwise, hopefully there's no more mistakes. Knock on wood. But yeah, so I'm gonna go this way and work down, and then try and fill it out a little bit right here in the middle, and then I'll fix whatever's down here. So that is the goal for this one. So this one should have a lot more progress next time you see it. Okay, I'm determined. I'm determined to have that one finished in 2 months. On Windrunner, I plan to do half a page, so it's probably like 4 more columns on Windrunner. So we'll get more of her face in there hopefully next time. On Moths and Bugs, this way, is it? No. On Moths and Bugs, I will do another row of motifs. I think that's a good amount. So another row of motifs. We don't have the new normal anymore. So moving on, we have Space Dragon, and Space Dragon, I want to say let's get his tail done. I mean, I think that's essentially almost all that's left. I don't have the picture right here in front of me at the moment, but I think I'll try and finish his tail. We'll see. So tail on Orion, Space Dragon. And then my Cryptid Sal is already done, so I don't have to worry about that till September. And even then, the pattern comes out that day, so you won't see that one back out until October, which means I'll have progress on it. And then for Sweary Video Games, oh, I don't know. How many? I only did almost 400 stitches on this. So let's try and do like, it's supposed to say video games, so I'll try and do the video games because it's supposed to be I don't always die in video games. So we'll do that. That'll be my goal, is just writing all the video game out, and maybe the swords and the other flame, because there's another flame over here and a sword on both sides. So I'll try and finish that and this blue thing. Is that a lot? No, I think it's okay. So we'll try and do all of this first top section. That'll be goal number 1. All right, I think that is it for today. I hope this was a satisfying video more than last time. I'm sorry I was so soft-spoken last time. I think it's because I knew there were other people in the house listening to me and it was making me nervous. Plus my brother-in-law said he was gonna pop in at some point so he can say hi to his mom, and he never did, but I think that's what I was expecting. And I'm sorry I flashed you with my shirt. That's why I don't wear low-cut shirts anymore. I'm sure it's fine, but for me, I'm still figuring out this mom bod. My body's changed from what it used to be, so things are just falling out where they shouldn't be falling out. So I'm so sorry if you felt offended by the flash. I figured it was better to be distracted by a blurb than actual cleavage. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see all my subscribers that I'm subscribed to, you can go click on one of the tabs on my channel page and you can see everyone I'm subscribed to if you're interested. My Goodreads is linked down below. All my project stuff that I can find is linked down below. Otherwise, I won't be seeing you until the first Saturday of next month with all my updated progress. Also, I am really gonna try to be much better on social media. I'm really gonna try. So it makes me so nervous putting myself out there like that. So, you know, I really want this to be a job. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I really would love for this to be a job to where I make money to buy more craft stuff. That's my dream in life, is to make money to buy craft stuff. So I'm gonna try my best to work a little harder on social media, because I know if that's something I want, I have to put myself out there a little more. So if you wanna follow me on all my stuff, please do. Hopefully I don't disappoint in that aspect. But subscribe if you haven't subscribed, like if you like to like and do that kind of thing. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.